everybody, and welcome to our training today. Today we're diving into crowdfunding and how it can help your business succeed. By the end of this training, you're going to know everything you need to know to be able to use crowdfunding to get money for your business. You're going to know what it is, how it works. You're going to know the difference between the different platforms, how much they charge, and exactly how to make a crowdfunding campaign successful so you could use crowdfunding to get money for your business. For those that don't know me, my name is Ty Crandall. I'm CEO at Credit Suite. If we can help you along the way with getting money for your business, visit us online at creditsuite.com/get funding. We work with every legitimate funding product that's out there. So in one place, you can get access to the most amount of funding for your business. So let us know if we can help. So let's talk about business funding. So when it comes to getting working capital, you want to do this to be able to grow your business. And there's other places to do it other than just the big banks or SBA loans. Okay, there's a lot of creative ways to get money for your business. And a lot of the businesses are now turning to crowdfunding to be able to do so. So with crowdfunding, you're able to get money for your business by avoiding a lot of the complexities and headaches that you typically deal with getting money from the big banks. Now, a lot of these options even work for startups. So if you're starting a business and maybe you don't have cash flow yet, you don't have good credit, you don't have collateral, these options work for you, but they also work for very well-established businesses and seasoned businesses as well. Okay, but there's a lot of details you need to know to make crowdfunding successful, and that's exactly what we're going to be diving into. So let's just start with some of the basics. Okay, you want to start with a service or platform, I should say, like Kickstarter. We're going to talk about a couple different platforms today, but the way crowdfunding works is that you're using a platform like Kickstarter to actually host your campaign, and that platform is where you'll drive people to make donations to your actual crowdfunding campaign or to whatever it is that you're trying to get the money for, including for being able to raise money for a business. You got to make sure you read the fine print. It's always a good idea because many crowdfunding platforms may give all the money back if you don't meet your end goal. Okay, so for example, most crowdfunding platforms, very important to know, a lot of these crowdfunding platforms use what's called fixed funding, which means if you set a goal that you're trying to raise $10,000 to sell your product or get your business off the ground, for example, and let's say you raise $9,500, a lot of platforms like Kickstarter will then give that money back to the donors because you have not met your goal. That's called fixed funding. So it makes sense to consider an option like Indiegogo that offers flexible funding. And with flexible funding, if your goal is to raise $10,000 and you only raise $9,500, they would still give you all of that $9,500. They wouldn't give it back because people don't meet the goal. Very, very important in crowdfunding. One of the most important things you need to know is this difference between flexible and fixed funding. So if you don't hit your goal, you still are able to get that cash versus fixed funding where that's not the case. Now, crowdfunding platforms are going to take a percentage of the donations. That's how they make their money. Okay, and what happens is crowdfunding platforms may push to have you deliver on your promises as well. So let's talk about how much they charge. Typically, a lot of these kind of campaigns charge 5%. So whatever it is you donate, about 5% gets paid to the crowdfunding platform, but you need to make sure that you read the fine print because each one of them is different. But when I've researched each one of them, they're all about the same, about 5%. Okay, now, crowdfunding platforms, again, as I said, may push you to deliver on your promises. This means you'll have to actually manufacture a product or do whatever else your business is supposed to do. You can't just go and raise money on crowdfunding stating that you're going to create a product and then just keep that money. Okay, so a lot of these platforms, for their own integrity, are making sure that you follow through with those promises to actually use the funds that you're claiming to raise for the purpose you want or claiming to raise it for. And given how much social media we're all bombarded with these days, it comes as no surprise that this is a problem that they may deal with. So again, donors can become wary of crowdfunding pitches because they see so many people trying to raise money for so many different things. So because of this, it comes down to the integrity of that platform and making sure that you deliver on what you say you're going to do. Now, crowdfunding tends to work best when donors can personally connect with a product or service. Okay, so that means that in order for this to really work for you, you have to be offering a product or service through the crowdfunding platform that you're trying to raise money for that really connects with people on an emotional level, personally, something they can connect with and they really really want to possibly invest in. Okay, they look at for straightforward businesses that don't do so well. Straightforward businesses that if you're just selling, for example, if you're trying to raise money for a real estate investment gig, this might not be the best place to actually go, because just a straightforward business, it's very typical amongst many other companies in the same industry, typically don't do very well. So the kind of businesses that do well with crowdfunding are products not quite on the shelves yet, or artistic endeavors, or things that just aren't standard that everybody sees. Standard type widgets are not likely to attract enough people. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is that with crowdfunding, it works for some type of endeavors and it doesn't work for others. So if you're in an industry where you're doing the same thing as a bunch of other people, maybe you're in credit repair and there's a bunch of other credit repair companies, or you're an attorney, or you're an accountant, or you're in any other industry where, like a real estate investor, where there's a bunch of people doing the same thing, well, crowdfunding typically doesn't work that well in that kind of scenario. Where it does work well is with something unique, something that stands out, something that's a product that most people haven't seen because it's not on the shelf, or it's artistic, it's something that's very creative that, again, people can really get attached to on a personal or emotional level and they haven't seen before. So a great example here that I always use when I talk about crowdfunding is I saw this box that you sit at the top of your stairs, that you open the box and unfold a plastic slide that makes your stairs into a slide. That's something really cool that I'd never seen before outside of a crowdfunding campaign. It's different, it's unique. The company's trying to raise the money to produce that product. Products like that do very well in crowdfunding because nothing like it exists, which is one of the reasons that they, again, become so popular. Okay, now, that being said, you need to decide how much you're actually going to ask for, okay? It becomes very important. How much do you need to ask for to actually get done what you need to get done? Asking for way more than what you really need won't endear you to potential donors and may be not to the Attorney General's office as well. So what happens is, don't come in and say that you want to raise $1 million when you're only really trying to raise $10,000. You want to keep your goal very realistic and only raise roundabout, or set your goal roundabout for what you're actually really trying to earn. Otherwise, you get the eyes of all types of people when you're trying to raise ridiculous amounts of money. Now, we've all seen before on Shark Tank where people will come in, run crowdfunding campaigns, and get way more in donations than what they were looking for. That's better suited for what you want versus trying to set your goal too high. You need to decide what perks you're going to give. Okay, which perks match to what donor levels. Whether you're likely to succeed in being funded, this determines if you want regular or flexible funding. Okay, so for example, when we talk about perks, what we're saying is this: if people are donating, so normally if a bank lends you money, you have to pay it back. Okay, and if you're getting money from a venture capitalist or an angel investor, they want a percentage of equity in your business. But crowdfunding, some crowdfunding campaigns, nothing ever needs to be given back. You don't need to give away equity in the business. You don't need to give away money. They may just, there's a lot of ways this can go. They may donate money, and in donating the money to the crowdfunding, they're placing their initial order. So they come in and say, look, the crowdfunding campaign's set up that every person that gives $100 is placing their first order for that product, whatever that product is done. Okay, or you can come in and also figure out things like, you're going to give an incentive to everybody that donates more than $100. So maybe everybody that donates more than $100, they're going to get your book on XYZ or whatever it is. So again, you can have perks based on certain donor levels. By donor levels, I mean somebody donates $50 or $100 or $1,000. Well, there's different perks or benefits for every one of those. If somebody's just donating 50, maybe they're just donating it because they like what you're doing. If they're donating 100, then they're actually placing a pre-order for the product. If they donate 1,000, well, then they're placing a pre-order for the product, and you're going to give them 5 other cool things, whatever those perks may be. So you want to create those perks and create those different donor levels so people at different levels can get incentives for them to be able to donate to the campaign. Okay, now Now again, whether you're likely to succeed in being funding is really determined based on these perks that you're going to give. Okay, and you also, that's going to incentivize people to contribute to the campaign. So that's when you need to kind of decide between fixed or flexible funding, whether or not you're going to meet those goals that you set. The length of your campaign, how long you're going to be raising money for. Is it a week-long crowdfunding campaign, a month, a year, etc.? I don't think they let you go a year, but how long you're going, like a week, a month, etc. Now, I mentioned perks are a must for a lot of campaigns, but you have to consider how much complexity you think you can handle. So 5 levels of those perks may be a lot. 3 is already pushing it. Virtual perks are easier to fulfill than physical ones. So we talked a little bit about what these perks are and donor levels. You need to really be creative of the different donor levels that you're going to create, not create too many where it's confusing, and then be clear on the perks or the benefits that they're actually going to get. Virtual perks are easier to fulfill than physical ones. What this means is it means something you could give away electronically through email or they could download is much easier than something you actually have to ship to them. So let's say, for example, I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign and I'm saying, hey, look, if you donate $50 or more, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book. Well, it would be much easier for me to say, I'm going to give you a digital copy of my book, which is something I could just email you the digital version, than I say I'm going to physically deliver the book, because that requires a process for me to go through to have that book physically delivered to you. So virtual perks that you could deliver are much easier than physical ones. And by the way, when it comes to being scrutinized by the FTC, etc., they like virtual perks easier or more for some reason than physical ones as well. Physical ones are just harder to deliver on. So for example, if you say you're going to give away a physical book to everybody that donates above $50, well, what if you have 200 of those people? Now all of a sudden you've got 200 books to try to mail out. It becomes overwhelming. You don't fulfill your promise and do it, and then all of a sudden there are complaints and all kinds of issues. This is why you want to consider virtual perks. They're easier to be able to deliver. Now you need to evoke emotions in your donors. We talked about this. The most effective feelings are urgency. They need to donate now. There needs to be a reason that this needs to happen and that they need to act quickly. The campaign expires in a week. If they want to get this perk, and be the first one in on the product, then they need to do it now, etc. So urgency is creating a deadline and saying, look, you need to do this now, because if you don't do this now, well, then you're not going to get X. So if I want to say, hey, look, I'm going to sell this box that sits at the top of the stair that becomes a slide and turns your stairs into a slide, but hey, only the people that donate before this Friday, before the campaign closes, are the ones that are going to get access to this. If you don't get in now, you may not even be able to get your product for 1 to 2 years down the road. That's an example of creating some kind of urgency. Scarcity. They can't get the product or service anywhere else, or it's running out. Again, hey, you're able to get in on this crowdfunding campaign and get this box that goes to the top of your stairs that turns them into a slide. This is something that is going to make you all the rave for your kids and your kids' parents, but guess what? You can't get it anywhere. It's not sold in stores. It's not sold online. You can only get it as part of this crowdfunding campaign. That creates scarcity by letting them know they can only get it there. Novelty. Your product or service is new, or your spin on an existing one is new. So this is something unlike they've seen before. Again, psychology, people like to have the newest thing. It's like why iPhones come out with minor changes every year, right? My kids insisted this year that they get iPhones 11s. And when I asked them what the difference between 11 and a 10 is, they don't even know. Okay, but everybody wants the newest thing. So that novelty, and speaking to that novelty, creates a reason on why people want to donate. And the cool factor, it's just cool. It's different. It's something unique that most people haven't seen. Don't know about you, but I like that. I like to have something cool and different that most people haven't seen. It gets people talking. And like I said, is that one example I'm going with through the whole theme here, which is that box that sits at the top of the stairs that turn your stairs into a slide. That's just cool. Okay, and having that kind of makes you cool because it's something that nobody else has seen, that doesn't exist anywhere else. So that creates a kind of cool factor. These type of feelings, or these hitting on these kind of feelings, are going to help you evoke the emotions that are needed to really get people to donate. So you've got to have a pitch video, or you should have some kind of good pitch, and video works really good. Okay, so if you have a video that introduces you and the company and the product and what you're trying to do, and how cool this product is going to be, and maybe you have a mock-up to show how it's actually going to work, okay, that goes a long way. You have to remember, when it comes to crowdfunding, that successful crowdfunding has to do with with your ability to make something go viral or share it. So a lot of people think they're going to start a Kickstarter campaign and everybody's going to donate. That's not how it works. How it works is you start a Kickstarter campaign, you share it everywhere with your social network. If it's hot, they start sharing it to more people, then a bunch of people start to donate, then a platform like Kickstarter sees that it's popular and they promote it. But the whole thing starts with your ability to get people to share this, for it to go viral, for it to be popular. And nowadays, the things that are viral are very visually appealing, like videos. Okay, it's very tough to get things that don't have a really big visual aspect, or even that are videos or images, to sell well right now. So if you want something to go viral, you really need to have some kind of good video that explains what you're doing, shows the product, etc. Be courteous always to everybody that donates, no matter how much they do or don't donate. Remember, if somebody thinks your idea is cool, or that it's rare, or they want to buy it and they donate $5 or $10 because that's all the money they have, you want to still thank that person, because that person's then liable to go, hey, talk to all their friends at a dinner party and say, man, you're never going to believe it. I saw this awesome thing that sits at the top of your stairs. It turns your stairs into a slide. And they're like, what? That's awesome. You're like, I know. I donated $10 to this guy's crowdfunding campaign. He's trying to get 10 grand to get the thing off the ground. And the other people are like, show me. And he says, here's the video, right? And then all of a sudden that one donor that was only worth $10 becomes worth thousands as they share that message. You got to be courteous to everyone who's contributing to the campaign. Present any tangible evidence of your product or service. Like I said, a demo of the product, pictures of the product, video of the product. Okay, so this isn't just a concept. People can see you've done more than just dream up an idea. Okay, and it bears repeating, don't be greedy and ask for far more than you need. These campaigns work because typically you exceed what you need, not because you set some lofty goal that you are never able to hit. So again, be gracious if your campaign fails. Still reach out to everybody and let them know thank you for contributing. If you're in a fixed funding where you didn't raise all the money you needed to raise, and as a result of that, the campaign didn't really take off, you didn't raise the money, the campaign closed, and you got no funds, you still should be courteous. You still should reach out to everybody and thank them, because they could be potential donors for your next campaign. Okay, and your stretch goals should be a mix of readily attainable and ambitious. Okay, so what that means is your goal here, the number that you're trying to hit, the time frame you're trying to hit it in, needs to be really attainable, but still a little bit ambitious. You just don't want to overreach and ask for more than what you really need. Line up your most significant and dependable donors before your event even starts, and share your campaign on social media multiple times. So the last two bullets are 95%, maybe not, 90% of what makes a crowdfunding campaign successful. So I'm going to spend some time on these two. First of all, I have looked historically at the biggest producing crowdfunding campaigns, and the one thing they all have in common is that every one of them had donors lined up before the crowdfunding campaign even went live. So most people don't realize that, but here's how this works. So let's say that you are trying to raise money for the idea that we talked about, putting a box at the top of your stairs to turn it into a slide. You don't want to just go to Kickstarter and post that and make it go live and then wait for people to donate. You will never get donations. You probably won't even get one donation. What you need to do is tell everybody about it. And then everybody says, man, I love that idea. I love that idea. Look, if I start a crowdfunding campaign, would you donate $5 or more to this idea? Yeah, absolutely I would. All of a sudden you talk to 100 people, 50 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, whatever. And then you start making a list of all these people that said that they have an interest. Okay, especially the ones that are able to contribute more money. That's lining up your significant donors ahead of time. Now, what you can do is now you got a list of 50 people that are willing to donate, and 5 of those 50 are willing to donate 1,000 or more and have committed to you. Now you can make the campaign live. Go to those 50 people, email them, message them on Facebook, say the campaign is now live. Remember you said you donate $5, $50, $100, $1,000. I told you what perks you get. Please go ahead and donate now. And then what's going to happen is then those people will then start to donate. Now remember what happens from there. What happens from there is then Kickstarter starts to see the popularity of the campaign, if Kickstarter is who you're using for the campaign, and then they start to show it to more people. So here's a perfect example. This is exactly how social media works. Exactly. Right now, if you are here live on YouTube, what happens is this. YouTube has started to show this video live to sections, very small segments of our YouTube subscribers, of our YouTube audience. The more people that come in to start watch this video, the more likes you have, the more comments you put in here, the more YouTube sees that there is engagement with this video. YouTube then starts to show it to more of our subscribers, and then eventually YouTube starts to show it to people that aren't subscribers, just general people looking for crowdfunding stuff on YouTube. That's how Facebook, that's how all social media works. Crowdfunding is exactly the same. They start showing it to more people, the more popular the campaign is. Because that way, the popular campaigns are what get seen, and that's where people want to go to Kickstarter and check out all the cool campaigns, because the cool campaigns are the ones that are seen first, because they're the ones getting all the traction. In order for this to happen, it goes to the second point. You've got to share your campaign on social media. I actually saw a friend's mom once that actually started a crowdfunding campaign to raise money to pay off her medical collections. Then all of a sudden, like a week later, she started yelling on Facebook that nobody was donating money to her crowdfunding campaign. She didn't get it. A lot of people don't get it. In order for these to work, you have to share them. Your ability to get money into this campaign does not have to do with Kickstarter promoting the campaign to other people. It has to do with you having the ability to share the campaign with other people. It has to do with your social network and your social network's willingness to share. Now let's say you do this the right way. You lined up your 50 donors, you went to them, they said they're willing to donate and they're willing to share it on social media. And you had another 50 people lined up that said they might not donate, but they're willing to share it. Now all of a sudden the campaign goes live, you go to your 50, they start donating, you go to your other 50, they start sharing, and all of a sudden in a very short period of time, thousands and thousands of people have viewed your video because it's getting shared by your friends to their friends, and their friends are sharing, and now you have some kind of viral component. All these donations come in, Kickstarter's algorithms say this campaign is popular, they start to show it to more people, it's cool, we talked about what makes them work and you made it cool, more people start to contribute because it's cool, then Kickstarter sees, hey, of the 20 people we showed it to, one person actually clicked, so there's good engagement here, then Kickstarter starts to show it to more and more people, and now you have a real campaign that is viral worthy. But as I've mentioned, it's dependent on two very important things. You need to line up the donors in advance and have them ready to donate when that campaign goes live. You need to have people lined up ready to share it when that campaign goes live. When you do those two things, that's what makes these campaigns successful 100% of the time. I've not looked at any of the most successful campaigns out there where those two things did not happen in the order that I actually told you they did. Let's talk about Kickstarter. You can find them at Kickstarter.com. They're the biggest crowdfunding platform that exists. They have over 17 million backers and over 445,000 funded projects. Campaigns can be for products and services such as publishing, the arts and film, comics and illustration, design and tech, food and craft, games and music, and more. Their requirements: you've got to have a plan. Projects must be honest and clearly presented. You can't raise money for charity. Okay, GoFundMe has a way you could do this, but you can't do it on Kickstarter. You can't offer equity in your company as a perk. You could try Crowdfunder instead, where that is available. So, notice a couple things here. I said you can't raise money for charity. You could try GoFundMe for that. You can't offer equity as a perk. Try Crowdfunder for that. Look, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of these platforms to raise money. They're in the United States. They're in the UK. They're all over the world. And a lot of them are designed for special purposes. Some of them are just for arts. Are artists. Some of them are just for art. Some of them are just for computer projects. Maybe you're starting a company that sells some kind of cool microchip. Okay, some of them are just for people in financial services. So you have to do some research, because even though Kickstarter is the biggest, there may be niche platforms that deal just with a type of industry or product that you have that might be better fits for you. That's why I'm telling you some of the popular platforms and some of the other ones as well. Okay, so Kickstarter imitations. Prohibited projects and perks include anything to do with these items: contests and raffles, cures and medicines, energy drinks, credit services, live animals, alcohol, weapons, offensive material. So if you're in any of these type of things, then Kickstarter is not going to let you post that project. Now, their fees. Campaigns that don't make it don't pay a fee. Kickstarter does not offer refunds, but individual creators can if they choose so. So again, remember, we talk about fixed versus flex funding. Okay, campaigns that don't make it, if you don't raise enough money, okay, then you're not going to have to pay a fee, but you're not going to get to keep that money either. They charge 5% fees on all funds collected on that campaign, and payment partners may charge added fees if you want to. Okay, but Kickstarter offers no warranties. Some things you just want to know about them. Let's talk about Indiegogo. At Indiegogo.com, they have over 9 million backers. Minimum goal is $500 with them. They charge a 5% fee as well, and a 2.9% plus 30 cents third-party credit card fees for anybody that is accepting or paying with a credit card, which is almost all of your donor. Fixed funding campaigns that don't make goal don't pay any fees. So you get to keep your money no matter what with flexible funding. So again, you don't lose your money if you are not able to raise whatever that goal is you set. Fees are calculated and deducted from the funds you actually raise, okay, not the goal that you set. So you cannot charge your fundraising structure from fixed to from fixed to flexible. I've told you now what fixed and flexible is and why you need to know about it. You can't change once you've made the decision with Indiegogo. A lot of them don't give you a decision, but they do. Okay, fixed funding is recommended if you need a minimum amount to make your project work, but Indiegogo recommends regular communications to donors if you choose that fixed funding option. Okay, you need to make sure. So if you're saying, look, I want fixed funding, meaning I don't get the money if I don't raise a certain amount, because if I don't raise that amount, it's not going to work anyways, then you still want to keep in communication with those fixed donors while that project is going on. And you can raise money for a nonprofit using Indiegogo. Okay, let's talk about some others. There's Crowdfunder.com. Crowdfunder engages in equity crowdfunding. Equity crowdfunding allows entrepreneurs to sell shares in their company to accredited investors. There's two types of money you can raise in this world typically. There's equity and there's debt. And I say typically because crowdfunding actually kind of falls in the middle. A lot of these platforms, you might not give away equity in your company, and you're not taking on debt that has to be paid back. It's kind of like grant money. It never has to be paid back. But they do offer Crowdfunder equity crowdfunding, which means you can give away a percentage of equity in your business in order to actually raise money. $229 a month to start your listing with them. Premium listings with them are about $500 a month, but preparing to fundraise is free if you're doing fundraising with them. Okay, so let's talk about the law on crowdfunding. Perks might be considered sales under the UCC. Okay, that has not been litigated yet. This means your perks might be subject to UCC warranties like merchantability, can it be sold, and fitness for a particular purpose. Virtual perks usually don't have these issues. Remember, we talked about this. I told you earlier about virtual perks versus actual non-virtual perks that have to be physically delivered. Okay, and I told you that regulation has something to say here. Here's what it is. It's not a steadfast rule, but the bottom line is if you're delivering a perk that has to be physically delivered like a real book, well then there may be problems down the road with that. Okay, but if you're doing a virtual perk, you don't have any of those issues, so some things to consider there. Okay, the FTC points out consumers need to be wary of scams. Okay, in 2019, they sued iBackpack in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas, and iBackpack raised over $800,000, but they failed to deliver, and the state of Texas also filed a suit against them. So in this case, what happened was they came in, they raised $800,000, they didn't do what they said they were going to do to their donors, and they got sued by basically the state and then lost that lawsuit. Okay, so the director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection said if you raise money by crowdfunding, you don't have to guarantee that your idea will work, but you do have to use the money to work on your idea or expect to hear from the FTC. It's the bottom line. I mean, that sums it up. Okay, I want to address the law because a lot of people have questions about the law and how it affects crowdfunding. The bottom line is that if you raise money, you need to use it for the purpose that you're supposed to use it for. You can't say that you're raising money to put a box at the top of the stairs that turns your stairs into a slide and then go use the money on vacation with your family to Disney. It won't work. That is a one-way ticket to jail per the FTC. So you got to avoid that. So if you misuse your funding, the FTC may get involved. That's the bottom line. So let's talk about this. As a recap, crowdfunding has nuances which help your campaign succeed, but not every product or service will work. You got to give donors the feelings that they want. So we talk about this. What makes a campaign succeed? Two things: lining up donors in advance and having a good plan to virtually get this out on social channels, and a good video that people would love that's entertaining. And that should also touch on emotions. There should be urgency. It should be a cool factor. It should be something unique and different. It should be something people want to talk about and want to share. Okay, not every product or service is going to work. It can't be something that's typical run-of-the-mill product that you're selling alongside of everybody else. You don't see anything like that. You got to have crowdfunding that is a unique product or service for that to work. Multiple perk levels add complexity. You want to add perks. You want to give bonuses and perks to people that actually, I don't want to say bonus, perks to people that actually donate, but try to make those virtual to have the best chance of getting them delivered and to avoid any issues with the law as well. Don't get greedy, okay? Don't ask for way more than you need, and make sure that you're able to deliver on what you actually say you're going to deliver, okay? And don't forget, platforms differ. You got to choose the right platform that works for you. I just went through about 5 of them today, but there are hundreds, if not now thousands, that you may want to look into. Okay, now, if you are looking to get money for your business, we can help with that as well. Okay, when you're working with Credit Suite, we have give you access to every legitimate funding source in one place, and you don't pay us fees for funding. Okay, we go to get the money, and the lender sometimes gives us a referral fee. That's how we get paid. Okay, and we do so much loan volume that we use that to get you lower rates and fees and develop a finance blueprint to get you into SBA loans and everything else you want. So our goal at Credit Suite is that when you work with our team, not only are we helping you with things like crowdfunding and equity investing and angel investing and all these other things, including all this other ways to get money, from revenue financing and beyond to collateral-based financing to credit lines for $150,000 or just for startups. Our goal is to pool all these different sources together to make it easy for you to get capital. So if you're interested in getting money and talking to our team about all the money you can get, then go to creditsuite.com/get funding, and we can get you pre-qualified and do so at absolutely no cost. And we never charge you for our services. We go help you get the money. We negotiate for you. We follow the money all the way till it gets in your bank account. We choose the right product. We help you choose the right source. Okay, and all that doesn't cost you anything. It's like having somebody there that's entire mission is helping you succeed with getting money without charging you anything to do so. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's not. Like I said, the sources that we send the money to, the actual lenders, will oftentimes pay us a referral fee. That's how we get paid. But you still pay less with us because we do so much volume that we actually get them down to lower rates than you get on your own. So now you know how crowdfunding can help your business succeed. If we can help you along the way, then feel free to give us a ring, 877-600-2487, 877-600-2487. If you want to get money for your business, if you want to improve your fundability or ability to get money, if you want to build business credit for your EIN and get away from personal liability, give us a ring at 877-600-2487 or visit us online at creditsuite.com. At the top right of our page at creditsuite.com, you'll see all of our links. We go live on YouTube every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We go live on Facebook Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Okay, we're getting ready to try going live on Tuesday on Instagram as well. Okay, we have links to our Instagram channel, our Twitter channel, where we have daily tips and so much more. All of our social links are at the top right of our page, creditsuite.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you for your likes. Thanks for the engagement throughout today. Okay, keep in touch. Next week is going to be a huge event. Okay, at 1 o'clock next Tuesday, which is going to be, what is today? Today is the 3rd. On March 10th, we are diving into business credit building in 2020. We are going to talk about exactly the step-by-step process to how to successfully build business credit and what's changed in 2020. The newest way for you to be able to succeed building business credit. You don't want to miss that. Subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed, and you'll be notified potentially, but also put it on your calendar. We'll be doing that next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Okay, thanks for talking. And Sean says, hey, are you available? Absolutely. If you want to get in touch or anything I can do to help, just let me know. info@creditsuite.com. Thanks everybody. Have a